Hi, and welcome to the second video. I love how we started this video, but first of all, I'm showing you again really quick how to cover your albums, the parts that we're not going to paint on, with plastic. So it's like gift wrapping your book. It's a little gift to yourself, if I can call it that, because in the end, you don't want any media, spray paint, resin to drip on any part of the book that you don't want it on. And maybe it's just me, but I'm an incredibly messy worker, so I have to cover my books with plastic. The plastic is just a piece of 11 inches by 11 inches, like a vapor barrier. If you've built a house, you'll know they use it to seal and protect homes, the insides with. But I bought the vapor barrier because I use it when I teach in-person classes on the tables. So I just cut a piece. So there you go. Your books are ready to go. And while we are just starting out, you can appreciate that my nails and my hands are still clean. So for this video, I'm doing two books, again, using the same techniques on both of them, but I love how differently they turn out. So we are starting off by printing on our books with a jelly plate. So a jelly plate is a reusable printing surface made of a non-perishable gel, and it is a wonderful tool for art journaling, and you get them in different sizes. I kind of like the big size because I usually work on bigger pages. So I like this, and you just wipe it with a wet wipe once you're done, and you can reuse it over and over and over again. I think mine is probably 2 or 3 years old, and I still use it a lot. So I'm going to use some white and red heavy body Liquitex paint, and now I'm going to use my brayer, and I'm just going to slightly alter the direction I'm rolling into, and you can see how the paint is blending, and that's exactly what I want. Now it looks a little pink here, but when you print it on the black covers, it looks a little bit more red. So I love the dramatic effect of it. So I'm just laying it down and then just squeezing on it, and there you can see how lovely that looks. Now I'm just going to use my brayer and reposition the paint again, and then I'm going to print a couple times until I'm happy with it. Just moving that one aside. Now I'm turning it around so that the red is on the other side, and just squeezing the paint down on the book surface, and there you go. You can see already just that it's very dramatic, and I kind of like it so much. And then once you're done printing, I'm just going to add a little bit more paint and do another print. Like I said, you can just clean it out. It is really not hard to use your jelly plate. And I'm actually a newbie still with it. There's some Instagram accounts that just inspires me to no end with the jelly plate. But as you can see here, mine is still very, very primitive, but it does the job. Right, next up, I'm going to be using cadmium orange, and we are going to do a wash over our dried covers. So this really turned out so much better than I thought. And again, it's such an intuitive thing. Just decide which paint to use. I'm using the heavy body acrylic from Liquitex, and I would take a little pigment and add a lot of water and then just paint it on. And you can see that it's thick enough that the water is not flowing. But if you tilt the book, you can get some drips to go down. And just a little bit of orange here and there. Let's see if I can do it. There you see how it's dripping down. And you do it by pressing your brush against the surface, and then just hold your book vertical and it will flow. And now you just want this to dry completely before we go on to the next step. So you can see I do use my heating tool, and I actually like to paint with my heating tool. So I mixed a little bit of white with cadmium orange and I'm just painting over it. And then I just added a touch of red to it so you can see it's that beautiful light pink. Why I'm using my heating tool while I'm painting is because it dries the paint and then you get those dry paint uh, markings, which I love. And I'm working fairly fast. I'm not painting super hard, meaning I'm not pressing hard on the surface of the book. But then again, you can see the bottom of the second one, how the layers are coming through. And that is the effect you want with this. Adding a tiny bit more red to my white, and then I'm just painting over it. And it's remarkably how quickly the acrylic paint dries when you put a heating tool on it. Once this is done, I'm using a stencil and I decided this one is too small, or maybe, oh no, it's not. And I'm just going through it with white spray paint. I did not straighten that stencil and it actually bothered me a little bit. This is one of my favorite songs called The Blessing, and I just love it. I I think it's Elevation Worship that sings it. Now you just want your paint to dry, and then next up I'm going to just add my stickers. So again, I used my Silhouette Cameo 4 and I did a print and cut with all my products, and I use stickers from Stickers Online, I think it's called. The link is in the product lesson, and I love it. This is white stickers. You can see how full of paint and media my hands are. And now I'm just positioning it, getting the perfect there, and then I'm just going to cut off the edge. So when you open up your product stickers, you'll see there's a couple that has blunt edges. Like I've cut it off already, and that is why they are there. Is because when you work on books, there is an edge that will be just a straight cut, and that is why I just print and cut mine like that. But they were still too big, so I still had to cut them down a little bit. I really hope that I explained my print and cut files, the PNGs, properly. If you are unsure of what I meant, just go and open the downloads and you'll see that there's multiple versions of the same thing there, and some just have straight edges. Anyway, so now I'm just sticking that one down. Why I love these stickers is because they are waterproof. So I had no problem painting over them, using media over them. They did not bubble up or anything. So that is kind of cool. Now I'm using my Flourish stencil and I am just going to spray paint through it. And I'm using gold spray paint for this one, just a little shimmer of gold. And I should have I didn't shake the bottle. Shake the bottle. And then it will be better if you spray. Otherwise it will be way too watery here. Right, take two. And here you can see that worked a lot better. So now I'm just going to reposition my stencil and then I'm going to try again. And this is the joy of doing art journalings, is that you try again and again and again. And someday, sometimes you get it right. But I think most of the time I'm just failing myself to success. Okay, now this is the part that I didn't record in the first video, and that is the layering of uh, spray paint through stencils. So I'm just spritzing a little bit with this. It's actually not yellow. It's actually like a lime green color. And I'm just going to spray a little. It looks like I'm stabbing my stencil there. Soft hold, Vilna. Just relax. And then I'm going to add a little bit of green over that. And you can see how lovely it layers. Again, repositioning my stencil. And then I'm just going to spritz a little bit of green over that. And then you get that beautiful layering of colors through your stencil. Now we are almost to the embroidery stage. I'm spraying light green, or it's actually a mint green, mint blue triangles on the bottom of the one album and the top of the other one. And now I'm going to paint with white paint mixed with a little bit of yellow, Liquitex heavy body paint, and I'm just going to blend a little bit. I like blending the illustration into the art journal page just so it doesn't look like I stuck it on. I almost want people to think I painted it on. And that is why you'll see in most of my art journal pages, I blend in the illustration onto the page. And I think, again, a very intuitive process. You can use other colors. I always just have a desire to bring back the lightness, the crispness of a page. And I think that's why I just love using this color, this light yellowish white. And I also love how painterly it look, especially if you use a little bit more of a dry brush. I'm not afraid to paint things away, but then like the triangle there, you can see I'm painting around it, and it's just a process. Mark making, it's okay if there's different marks on your page, right? It's just the whole thing is a journey. I especially love these two little books, and I think maybe it's the drama of the colors. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about them that I just love very much. Once we're done with the white paint or the cream colored paint, I guess it's really cream, right? It doesn't look white, but it doesn't look yellow either. We are going to just spray a couple of spritzes of texture on it again, and then we're almost ready to pour our epoxy on it. On my pages, I really try not to overwork the the illustrations and the art journals. Like it is a constant thing in the back of my mind just to stop. And when I teach art journal classes, I often say, okay, we're going to do this. You have 2 minutes, and then we're going to stop. Because what I found is most people will paint more, paint a bigger area when you should be stopping. Really, less is more on these pages. And that is why I just love the layering. Right now, I'm just going to spray a little bit of orange through the little stripe section of the stencil, and just spritzing here and there. Now I have a nozzle clogged, of course, and I'm just going to swap it out for a clean nozzle, and then I'm going to try again. There you go. Finally, it worked. I think. Maybe not. Okay, now it's working. Brilliant. Okay, then. Um, like I said, WD-40, and just clean your nozzles, put them in soapy water. That can help as well. And I think the books are done. I think I need to stop. And now I think next up is going to be our epoxy resin pour. So I mixed equal parts of A and B, 1 tablespoon of each. You can see I have quite a lot in my container there, just like the first video, and that's because I painted all my books and then I coated all of them at the same time with resin. So I just filmed them separately because I didn't want to be mixing resin all the time. So that's why it looks like I have a lot of resin in my container, which I do. But if you are making only one or two, then you just need 1 tablespoon of each. And then you're going to be mixing it for 4 minutes. And then we are going to be spreading it over. Oh, what I forgot here is my black and white image. And luckily I saw it, and then I'm like, eek, I just quickly need to add some before I coat it with the resin. So I just took out some stickers, and now I'm just going to add one here and then one on the other page as well. And then I'm going to spread my resin around with my palette knife, and I use the plastic ones. They work the best. I just love these stickers so much. I think they bring a little drawing vibe to the whole album, and that is why I love it. And now you use your plastic palette knife and just spread them around the resin on your book. I start off with a thin layer, and then you can always add a little bit more resin. But when you have too much, it's hard to get rid of it. It just makes a mess. Stay away from the edges, about 1/4 inch away from the edges and from the spine of your book. Because once the resin starts congregating in the spine and it dries, then I think it's going to be hard to open up your book. So now I'm just adding a little bit more, and what you can use is a level, just to make sure that your books are nice and flat and not tilted to one side or the other. I just eyeballed it, and I would use 2 ice cream sticks on one side, on the spine side, just to make sure that it doesn't dip on that part so that the resin flows back into the spine. Like I mentioned in the first video, you have about an hour to rework some of the resin. You can check back on it often, make sure that it doesn't overflow over the edges of the book and it doesn't go into the spine area. And if it does, you can just use your palette knife and remove it. So it's kind of very forgiving that way. And yeah, you just have to be patient and just wait until it dries. I I remember when I poured my resin, it was at night, and the first thing the next morning, I was like a kid on Christmas morning. I couldn't wait to see how it dried, and it just blew me away. Like, I love it so much. And here you can see how I'm using my little ice cream sticks to prop my books up so that they are nice and level. And because when they tilt to one side or the other, your resin will flow that way. And now they're just gonna dry, and then the next shot is just where they are all dried or busy drying, and I just love how they look. The layers, the depth of it that comes with looking through glass, and it's just the most beautiful finish ever. And I apologize, I'm sorry, not sorry, saying the same thing over and over again, but yeah. So this is our second lesson, and you can see the colors that I used. It's a little different, and in the next one we are going to do another thing, but still the same thing. And beautiful rose gold hardware. It's a bookbinder clip, and there you go. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sitting through my voice. I'm a little tired of my own voice right now, but I'm going to take a rest and then I'll see you in the third video. Bye.